Families plan for college. They don't plan for cancer. The Pinky Swear Foundation provides financial and emotional support for families whose children are battling cancer. It could be housing, it could be reliable transportation, it could be paying for their utilities, even sending families on a vacation because they want the families to concentrate on what's important, and that's beating cancer. Before 9-year-old Mitch Chapokas died from cancer, his father made that promise that he was going to help families that were going through this. And since 2003, they have distributed over $4.5 million in grants to families for that financial and emotional support.
Thank you, Joe. Meredith?
Joe, when did you first learn that Garcia might be a possibility, and what do you like about the move?
Well, he's been talked about for a while. We got the finality of it this morning. He's an experienced starter. And as you know, we've used a lot of people in that fifth spot since Michael has went down, and it's a guy that's pitched in some high-leverage situations. He's pitched in St. Louis where there's been big expectations. So, I mean, we're excited that we got him, and he'll be put in the rotation sometime this week.
Any idea when he'll be here?
Right now the plans are on Thursday.
Sweeney?
As an organization, you guys have talked for a long time about how much you like guys like Mitchell and Sessa and Smith. Why is Garcia better than your other options in house right now?
I think we're looking at the experience factor, Sweeney, and then he's had some years of success at the big league level. Also, it provides depth because we still have a long ways to go, and you can never predict what's going to happen. But it's someone that's pitched in some big games before, and that's why we decided to make the move.
Dan?
How's Didi?
Didi's okay. I talked to him this morning. He's ready to go. He's a little sore, but he's ready to go. He got like kind of a hip and elbow in the back is what he got.
And just on the trade, you talked about when you guys made the trade with the White Sox about going for it. This is another trade that shows that that's what you're doing. What does that do to the clubhouse and to the team when you see that that's the attitude that the organization has?
Well, I think it's encouraging to the clubhouse, and again, it just shows you that they believe in this club and what we have the capability of doing. So I think the players are excited. I think they've played that way all year. They've played that way this weekend, this homestand, and just continue to try to put together good streaks.
Andrew?
Joe, what is the criteria you use when you think about protecting young starters compared to trying to win right now?
So, like, are you talking about a Montgomery or from an innings or physical?
Yeah,
are you
innings,
talking about emotionally?
Yeah, well, I wanted to make
There's a lot of different things that you can talk about because emotionally you have to protect them too. You don't want to put them in bad situations where they get in bad ruts all the time. But their future, to me, is more important than 1 year. And the longevity of their health and their success is more important than 1 year. So you have to weigh all those factors. And you watch them closely. I mean, you feel if they're getting tired, you might have to give them a little break.
Where do you feel like Montgomery is?
I still think he's in a pretty good spot. I mean, this is a guy that, it's not a guy that only threw 100 innings last year. I think he was 160 or something, 165. So, I mean, he's logged some innings. So right now, I think he's in a pretty good spot.
Do you think there might be a need to protect him?
As of right now, no. Is it something I'll continue to look at? Yes. But right now, I feel like he's in a pretty good spot. And I have not, I have not been giving an innings limit on, we have not had any rules this year.
Sweeney, do you have one? Justin, did you have one? Justin.
Joe, what has Jordan done to react to some of the adjustments made against him lately?
Well, I think he just continues to work on trying to get better, to be more consistent with all of his pitches. He works in the bullpen. If you see him, he's around CeCe a lot. I think he's picked CeCe's brain a lot about adjustments that you have to make. And I think when you talk about someone that really knows how to compete on the mound, CeCe's probably as good as it gets. And I think it's a good person to spend a lot of time with. So you know, it happens in games. It happens in bullpens. It's discussions that you have with him. He's just always trying to learn.
Brian.
There's obviously a lot of talk about you guys adding another starting pitcher. Could you see going to a six-man rotation?
I don't think I would do that. Maybe one time through you might do it. If you get in some long streaks, you feel like some guys need a rest. It's obviously easier to do it in September, you know. And with the way our bullpen is constructed, you know, if you go to a six-man rotation, you don't have a long man. Does it leave you vulnerable? It could. So, as of right now, no. But I can change my mind.
So, assuming you don't add another starter, your rotation then would be Tanaka, Severino, Sabathia, Garcia, and Jordan. Are you confident that that's a rotation that can get you where you want to be?
Yes, I am. You know, this rotation has gotten us to this point, and I am confident. And we have played very well. I think our bullpen is really strong. You know, you don't necessarily have to ask for 7 or 8 innings out of your starter every night. I think we have a good combination of some short relievers down there and some guys that can give you 2 innings, and then there's guys that can give you 3 innings and even more than that. So I am, yes.
Roger, to your left.
Talking with some of your players, I mean, there's a lot of enthusiasm about the idea that the front office is backing them, and what I'm a little curious about is, in the first trade with the White Sox, somebody was also lost out of the clubhouse. Is there any anxiety for players when this is happening that goes along with the enthusiasm?
You know, the players in the clubhouse, not in this situation, because usually the guys in that clubhouse aren't going to be traded if you're adding pieces. Now, there might be some anxiety if you hear some names that are bantered around about, okay, I might get sent down. Yes, but as far as leaving, I don't really think so. Now, you'd probably have to ask them because, you know, I don't think that I'm going to get traded, so I don't have that anxiety. But I think they feel pretty good about staying here in this clubhouse. Now, some kids down below, they might have that anxiety more than the guys in that room that are on the 25-man roster.
Michael.
Any concern because he went between starting and relieving last year about Severino's innings this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we will watch too, but he's a guy that's used to being a starter in that situation. But it's something that, again, we have not talked about limiting his innings, but, I mean, we will watch Mike.
Andrew, do you have a question?
Do you believe, like, I know we've talked about the science of the innings limit, but do you think that, you know, do you think it's possible to know, like, well, this guy should pitch 200 innings, or do you think it's sort of a little bit more gray area?
Oh, I don't think there's any exact science. You know, I think there's good data about what they feel like is in the safer window of the amount of innings that they should increase year by year. But some of that is stressful innings too. I mean, there's a difference between throwing 7 innings and throwing 100 pitches and only having, you know, 3 base runners opposed to throwing 100 pitches over 5 innings. So to me, a lot of it is the stress of the innings and how they're handling that. And do they have a lot of innings, you know, where they throw 25, 27 pitches, sometimes more than just the innings.
You guys figure that out. You know, I mean, teams have tried to figure it out. You know,
Well, I think we have an idea, but there's no guarantee.
Anyone else? Oh, Steve.
Joe, with Aaron Judge, is this a natural leveling off? Is it a little bit of a slump? Is it both?
You know, I think it could be a little bit of a slump. Could it be both? Yeah, I mean, hitting 340 and 330, I mean, that's not easy to do in this game. Do I think he's capable of hitting 300 plus? Absolutely. I still think he's being fairly productive. He's still taking his walks. He's not as hot as he was before, but I think that's normal in this game. I think the expectations are so high that I think people for a while were talking Triple Crown, and that's really unfair. I mean, how often does that happen? But I think it's just part of the game.